I think so.
And
tough trouble.
like,
Tough
trouble.
trouble.
Which one? I had one like 150 on the first thing. Look at that.
It's like the old library.
So, yeah. I ended up winning.
They would cover.
Overall, it's 300.
Okay, you ready?
That's pretty good.
Everybody here? Supposed to be, I think the board's out here.
All of them.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Morning. Call the meeting to order.
Morning.
The need for executive session, 30 members.
Real quick, yes.
Executive session.
It's not really executive session. I just don't want to like on the recording.
Yeah, that's what, that's.
Yeah, that's- I know.
What's the?
I just got,
What's
I'm
the-
expecting.
what's the,
Oh.
Yes, I
I
was,
was using executive session.
oh, Shauna needs it.
Man, you wish you waited now, huh?
I just didn't want to go on recording, but it's okay.
How's it?
Two people.
Well,
I think we'd like to think people listen to our recording. I don't think anybody.
We do.
Yeah.
I didn't catch up on notes, but no one else does, right? Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
July.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
You can get any car you
want to
want.
be in front of the camera right now.
So you can get any car you want to get.
Thank you.
Just make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
So we do have a need to go into executive session to discuss potential projects. So can I have a motion?
I'm moving.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay,
So you stop the recording completely.
so we can call you back in when the,
Can I step right out here?
fine, yeah, yep.
You got coffee out there?
Take it with you right here. Take it with you.
I bought my own coffee maker this morning. Let me close this guy?
If you don't
Yeah.
mind.
Thanks.
Thanks.
We'll leave this door open, this is going to Walter.
Okay.
I just have two very quick
Is it
project
still
updates.
recording? I just stopped.
We just had.
It's also lower than the CDs too. I mean, we've done $225,000 and rotate them too. Depending, I mean, the first source CD was the biggest CD that we had. So I can always split that one too, but they just had such a great rate. Want to push it all to that page.
Anyway, if
Sorry.
you run into problems, then there may be one of those, we'll be able to
That's a good idea.
handle that.
Yeah. Good idea.
I'm not opposed to what Dave is saying, just so you know, but also if we explore an option like that, let's just keep in mind, you know, you got local players in here. Take Adirondack Bank out because that's me. You do have First Source, Bank of Utica.
Yeah.
Who cares
Yeah,
about
no, I
me,
think
but-
I think that's important.
And we've
But
tried to do
just,
it
let's
with,
be mindful of it.
Yeah.
Pardon?
we've tried to do that with all the
Yeah.
economic development groups.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not opposed to
Well,
what
we've
you're
been
saying.
at lower amounts, so we didn't really worry about it, but now we're at the point where we're getting larger amounts and we've stayed away from the
You
national.
guys are doing too good in your job, really. Projects are too nice.
And cash flow is a problem too, because you go in and out, and so you need access to the money.
Yeah.
You know, it could be something that the finance audit committee looks at and, you know, discusses, do we need to change our investment policy to address that? So it could be something you defer.
And I just have to say, to have such a good audit, when we had staff changes, I mean, that's kudos to you on how much, you know, how much work you put into this, so thank you for everything you've done.
Good job.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion to approve the audit? We do. Can I have a motion to approve the audit? Erica?
Second.
Just a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, Rachel, now your financial review.
So we had the slide again for you guys and we have actually added up in time, so it's ready. So we'll click through to the key financial highlights here. So your cash and investments reached 1.46 million. There's not a lot of change since we last met in January. The fund balance did decrease 61%, and that was because of the CD that was invested and the show body admin fee that was placed in deferred revenue. You guys will get so sick of hearing me say that.
I don't think so.
So the Cash flow from operating activities is negative, once again, from your investment in your CDs, but that has skyrocketed and you see a rate of return on that, which will help you with your projects. And then the special items to note, the prepaid balance is high, and that was because you double paid in January and again in February to assist with the support until LDC's CD matured and they could catch up with Edge. So this has been paused for March and April and will resume in May. Right, balance sheet analysis, so your cash and equivalents really didn't change too much. The investments, obviously now you're all in, at $1.149 million. The pilot holdings is made up of the Wolfspeed and the FlexSpace pilots that have been billed. So we have received Wolfspeed's pilot payment, in mid-March, and they have been dispersed. So the flex space is not due until May, so that's probably gonna sit in that account until that point. Deferred revenue, you have 8 open, commitment fees with projects, and the deferred revenue obviously is Giovanni admin fee revenue. And then the fund balance has decreased just due to lack of administrative fee projects received. One thing, I'm really covering the deferred revenue quite too much. So lease payments was billed out in February, so you guys will be seeing your lease income trickle in here. We have collected quite a bit of it already, so just a couple stragglers to follow up with. It's okay. And interest income is $3,700, so we are exceeding our budget. And then not too much other to note on your income statement so far for February. So cash flow, cash and equivalents decreased, obviously just due to the investment of your CDs, a lot of repetitive information. No capital expenditures have occurred so far in 26. And then liquidity and your strategic investment. So your staggered investment tier with the CDs will have, ensure you open opportunities to invest in projects should they arise throughout the year. This gives you a list of no projects have closed so far yet as of February 28th. We did have a couple that closed in March, so you'll see those, the list of open projects there, and obviously the special notes with the AIS closing March 19th, and then the Lewis Brothers did close March 2nd. Pilot status, Wolfspeed and FlexSpace pilots were both billed out, and that was sitting in that account we covered. So that's pretty much all the activity that I had for you guys for February.
Any questions for Rachel?
Is there a number for us in regards to it, and I'm sure we're not there, where we as an organization are overcapitalized, where we're just sitting on too much money?
We are, I think. And I was just gonna bring that up. I mean, I think it's important that we, work with the county and with Edge and, it's our decision ultimately what to do with it, but I think that, we do these projects to help fund economic development, right? So I think that we should, actively be looking for ways to, use the money in the right way to try to help with that, whether it's supporting educational opportunities that, would help people learn how to do trades or jobs or whatever that are needed in the counties, whatever. So I think it's important that we do that, but we're not an organization that needs to have a lot of money in our bank.
Yeah, I think I think it just leaves us ripe for criticism.
Exactly.
We don't need that, but
It leaves you exposed that the money can be captured.
exactly.
Really, it
We're a
would be the
big-
county, but
Big supporter of Edge though, so our money is really a backup resource for projects that they go out and deal with, knowing that there's funds here, because if we didn't have any money, they wouldn't really have a good access to money that would have some control. So over the years, we've restricted some money too, so that we have the ability in not an emergency basis, but in a developing basis, that they know that we have money for a project that we want to do, that we can support through Edge. And if we didn't have that pot of money, now we have a large pot of money down in Oakland, but there are big projects out there too, and Edge may need some support from us, because it's hard for them to get other money.
Are we out of executive session? do we make it?
He
left.
left.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
He watched him.
Totally not like.
No, this gentleman's from Nice Tech, and I saw him the other night, and he goes, I'd love to come and hear what you guys are working on.
Oh, I totally apologize. I
And you
didn't.
got a
No,
cup of
it's
coffee.
Yeah, you got. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. It's just like. We set him out. We're not.
Back.
And I think, if you would just let me go 1 second. And that's why we come and we bring you projects and opportunities we're working on, just so it might be something we do come back and ask. In the past, I think the IDA helped do the preliminary air permit that was used for Wolfspeed. Basically, it took about 8 to 12 months off the lead time. And, we might come back and, share that the challenge we're having to need to do a NISO study at Marcy might be something we need assistance with.
Well, we had a small support for trade expansion at MV or in the BOCES program.
BOCES.
So, these funds are available to use for those kinds of projects.
Yeah, and those things are critical, and I just wanted to follow up on that. Workforce development and daycare. Those are, every time I see these projects, I get so excited, and then I suddenly am not excited because there's not a workforce. I mean, we
There's
are
not a daycare.
struggling to find a workforce. At Utica National, and we had to open an office someplace else. We cannot get people to apply for the jobs that we have. And we're hybrid. You don't have to go. It's really incredible what's going on right now.
We're going to, I'm just gonna engage with Randy Van Wagner next week. We think we're gonna end up having to play a bigger role in the on-ramp program. Where, on-ramp was created to take people who might nevertheless, be able to have the opportunities to go into the workforce and provide that layered service of daycare, transportation. How do I deal with my kids after school? I mean, it's Franklin could speak to it. The state is not, I think, working as cooperatively as we thought with MVCC, and they're looking to have Edge come in and play one of those roles of some oversight.
That's good because foreign-born workers make up about 50% of the construction trades, and the
Mhm.
immigration policy has seriously impacted that, and it's going to be a big problem.
I just attended the Upstate Lending Conference in Rochester this past week. And that was geared towards SBA lending, not to get off track here, but there was presence from, I believe, their IDA LDC at this conference, and I don't have specifics, and I can get it for you, but I think they're trying to collaborate from the small business perspective in boosting it, which would ultimately impact the workforce development, getting opportunities out there that may not have been without those funds, so maybe something we can.
I want to avoid that we would come and say, you need to help raise the salaries of daycare workers. I'd like to see if we
No,
can
but that
find
would
a
do it.
way. Well, but the problem
Yeah, but
is,
it's not sustainable.
but you get put into that for such long term. I'd like to see if we can help maybe offset some of that cost early on for those daycare operators and
Like the insurance expense.
or, like the county.
Hey.
Sorry, that's how it is, I'm sorry.
Not a great plan.
No, I think I'm just flustered, Dave caught me off guard with the NBT comment, I'm sorry.
So $250,000 on some of that daycare program. I don't know if you remember Tony coming and speaking to us. They already have about 100 to 200 slots they created by just giving $6,500 to people to set up daycare. 2,500 into, their house. And we have to find every piece. And GLDC is gonna do a project with ICANN. And we're gonna come back to you for a pilot for one of the other GLDC buildings, because we're moving, it's a trickle down effect. We have to take a private renter in one of the buildings, move them to another building so that we can put daycare across the street for 72 slots.
Yeah, so I think the thing is that, like, let's not sit on this, right? I mean, we don't need to be looking at this money in 5 years, right? We have issues and needs that we have now, so I think that, we're fortunate, we have the Chilani project, but a lot of responsibility goes along with that. And if we can help with that, I think think the sense is that the board wants to help, so.
I like the chairman thinks we've gotten too far afield and he would like to get to the next.
I do. No, but the thing is you can talk about this all day, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a gap in what we're addressing. We know the jobs are available here, but nobody can get anybody. Problem is, in the guidance departments in all of our school systems, focus on going to college.
That's not true anymore, Dave. We've had this conversation.
No, but I know what's happening at RFA.
Well, I think with some kids, yes, but not all. I don't
We're
think
not
that's the case.
telling them that we have trade jobs and we have good earning jobs, that and they may not want to go to college, but if they're not getting that focused
I
early.
think
in
some kids are. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree too, because of the way the colleges are going out of business.
That's true, they're paying kids to go to.
Yeah.
Sat with the IBEW a while back and they've already said this. So the problem they have right now is not people. It's getting through the process.
Yeah.
Can we come back to, let me have that conversation with Randy in the state on on-ramp. There's a meeting in a few weeks about, dealing with this whole workforce issue with
He's
Chobani.
right in the middle of it, so.
Yeah, I think we can come back with something where, it's, we funded the Mechatronics lab over at
Yeah, that's a good
MD, and that
project.
really helped.
And I recently heard how Rebecca is going to be using a lot of that, so
Mhm.
that's wonderful.
They're gonna need it.
Yes.
Good. Okay,
Good source.
all right.
Accept as presented.
We'll accept the finances as presented.
Sorry, Rachel, we hijacked your.
That was good conversation.
That's the reason why we're doing, right?
All right, item number 4, annual job review. Go ahead, Tim.
So, first of all, big thank you to Mark and Julie for doing all the, the hard work of getting the job report together. We're in very good shape this year, as far as, the responses that we've gotten. There's a couple of big printouts in case everyone doesn't want to read the pie chart. But really, the two, there's only the only two issues that we have are all the Creek beverages and JGV VIX. Communicating with both of them, and in fact, we hope that we'll have something to share with VIX at our next meeting. Alder Creek, as many of you realize, it's a rather seasonal business, so them being below that 80% threshold in December is not necessarily surprising to us, but something we have to track. But also, if you see on the spreadsheet that part of their school district pilot is still payable, and that's kind of the bigger item that we are tracking with them, making sure that that gets paid as soon as possible. So otherwise, all our businesses are.
How late is that?
It was due in November. They made an initial payment just in the last week. So they still have quite a bit outstanding. They're gonna make another payment next week and then work towards resolving the rest of it. I did not get
Will
it.
we know that they make the payment next week, or how will we know that?
I'm keeping track on a fairly regular basis, so I'll check in, next week or after Easter, and then just kind of get updates on their payment progress. Other than that, everyone's meeting or quite near their employment obligations at a level that doesn't require our attention.
So the VIX project, that 70 number.
That's reflective of the action taken last year too.
So we've lowered it to 70.
Yeah.
And they're not even there.
Correct.
Is that basically a printing, because printing is kind of going out of business?
Well, yeah, but yes, but that's why we
Yeah,
lowered it
no,
to
I know,
70.
I know.
Yeah.
Right, and they
I
said,
think it's
they
still
said
in-
70 was good.
The guys that never answered us too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now they're at 53. So what are we doing? I mean, what's that?
So there, this will be on the record. So there was a change in control that took place that still, now needs consent. So that'll be coming before the agency. At that time, we can also ask for, an update on the operations, so we can have both aspects covered.
Well, I think before they bring it to the agency, they should address the new owners is it new owners?
Mhm.
They should address the issue.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know that, I mean, we don't have to keep the benefit going for the new owners. Or, if they're not,
Typically, a new owner's on a change in control will come in and talk to us about what the plans are or whatever.
yeah, they don't need to come in, but they'll
No,
just let us know.
Sure. They should advise us.
Yeah.
And from, I mean, for what
It's, I mean, it's a place to say, I don't think there's a lot of patience here.
No, understood.
Okay. Anything else?
No,
Okay, on that happy note, we'll go to item number 5.
Mark, or Linda, Lord, do we need to formally, accept the job report as presented?
Who's part of your audit?
It's part of the audit and all the financials. I mean, the annual report is much more expansive than just the project report. It includes all the financials and everything. So I mean, traditionally, they've just accepted the report and then we submit it with all the other financial information that Rachel has submitted.
Perfect.
We'll accept it. Item number 5, ratify and confirm our PAAA submissions, and you have those on page. What page it is? Somewhere in there. But we'll need a motion to approve all the items that are listed under the PAAA documents. If I have a motion,
Move it.
thank you, Kristen. Second, Blanca, thank you. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We have our mission statement ratification and approval of performance measurements, which were in part of the packet as well. So can I have a motion to approve? Motion.
Second.
James, Kristen? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item number 7, again, consider a resolution authorizing the agency to accept funds under the New York State DOT PFRAP program for the benefit of the DeLong Company, authorizing the form and execution of the grant agreement and related documents, subject to council review, all of which is subject to the agency making a determination for the purposes of seeker and conditioned upon the company assuming all obligations and duties in connection with the grant. We've done this a couple times, right?
The second action that we're taking, I brought it to the attention of everybody last month, that it would be coming for you guys again. So as a reminder, we applied for this grant on behalf of the DeLong companies last year. If anybody's familiar with Gold Star Feed and Grain, they purchased that down in Sangerfield. So they applied for funding under this PFRAP grant back in March, and it took them until January to find out that they were awarded. So, but good thing for them, they were awarded. As part of the grant process for them, the DOT needs the IDA to reaffirm its sponsorship, its support of the project, basically, and to accept funding on behalf of the company. Also, if you caught in the resolution that the agency has the requirement to conduct the seeker, which is that kind of came to my attention, at least just in the last couple of weeks. So that'll be something that we have to undertake, but that cost will be tested. Yep.
All in favor?
We need a motion.
Oh, we need a motion.
Move it.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Tim. Second. Any other
You have to
comments?
do
or
seeker
questions?
first at all? Or is that-
So since the funds, this is just a resolution to accept the funds, but since no financial benefit is being passed on at this point, we can pass this resolution and then pass a secret resolution later on. Yep.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Item number 8, the long-awaited housing policy discussion. So, the draft of the housing policy was in there. I thought it was very broad and good.
Thank you. Yeah, we wanted to make it as supportive as possible to the housing study that we published last year. It was last year, right? Not further back on.
Always last
Okay,
year.
good. So that includes making all of Oneida County a quote unquote eligible area. And finding an opportunity to assist single family housing. So, build to own instead of rent. So understanding that, that's the creation of some housing increases the pipeline for all segments of housing. So you free up, a starter home when someone moves into a new build, for example. So we want to be able to do what we can to support that higher end housing, just with the purpose of assisting those, so let's say workers or just outside of LMI. So we thought that limiting that support to sales tax exemption on home construction and then a payment in lieu of taxes on the raw land rather than on the homes themselves would be a good kind of middle ground. And the way it's structured, and thank you to the Department of Planning for helping come up with a structure. It would also incentivize the developers to offload those parcels as quickly as possible because it's a diminishing benefit over time. So those are the kind of the high level things. We did change the structure of the scoring. I don't think it's necessary to go into the fine details on that, but happy to have that discussion if anyone wants to do that.
Did the elevator project points apply to these possibly tiny house projects?
I would say so, yeah.
Yes, I would think so.
I mean, I think that's on.
We can
the-
make it explicit,
I've
but
had a couple of meetings about that, and
is it, okay.
the problem is local zoning ordinances are not in line with lot size requirements.
Well, we're solving that problem too. So that's a separate thing that I won't waste it if I don't gotta waste people's time with it. It's a separate thing that we're working on out of the Oneida County Executive's Office Planning Department to create, actually, it's pretty much done, but basically, we've created a municipal kind of, guidebook here so that towns and, the city, really any municipality, but mostly the towns, for the most part, they to put their zoning and codes in alignment with a wide variety of housing so that they know how to do that and we'll kind of coach them up on doing that. Now, whether they do it or not is up to them, but that really isn't, you're giving them the tools and then, you can bring them the water and then hopefully they'll drink. But but at the same time, for this purpose, we're it's less about, my opinion, it's less about what they're not willing to do and more about what we're willing to do. And we're willing to, from our standpoint, we need 6,000 houses. We need 6,000 homes. We need 5,000. It's a study that we spent a lot of money to do. That lays out, what the need is and where and the time frame. And so we're at a point where whatever we can do to incentivize those types of things or clear the regulatory path for those kind of things, just the municipal kind of walking planning departments or planning boards and town boards through this process of how to make things more possible in your zoning and your codes to build different types of housing.
Like what units are in here?
Yeah, but
I don't know
I know.
fit into that.
400 to 800 square feet.
Yeah, but these are like 300 square feet or 400 square
It's
feet.
just a deal. I mean, you can make it 0 if you want at some point. Well, we would just need started at this point, and it doesn't matter. Yeah.
So what kind of fees do these projects generate?
So
I know there's a deposit, you have to pay.
yeah, so I mean, they currently operate under the same agency fee structure as any other industrial project, which is,
But I mean, put it in like, somebody builds, 10, $400,000, $300,000, $400,000 houses. Maybe you can pay the $300,000 houses.
Right, trying to make that possible right now.
Like, what kind of fees would they have to pay the agent?
so on a, or let's say just round numbers, $4 to $5 million project, it would be 0.5% of half of 1% of that figure. So, my math is good, so it's what, 2,500?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if we're trying to jumpstart this thing, I mean, you know, maybe it's, there's a way, can we waive our fees after the deposit?
Or we can even put a scale of what type, is it lower income, is it middle income, high income? I think that's one of the areas we struggled putting this policy together is, are you providing the same benefit from a house that's going to, you know, go to that worker at Chobani or it's a manufacturer versus, you know, the $500,000 house that's gonna be for, you know, the upper management? Can you do a slide, let me just finish,
Yeah.
maybe create a sliding scale where it's maybe waived on the lower scale, higher up. I mean, I'm just throwing that out.
For the fees up, I mean, but from a housing standpoint, yes, you want to be cognizant of that and when you're gonna waive a fee and when you're not, I can understand. You don't want to waive a fee for $500,000, how about $500,000 ain't what it used to.
But maybe you do though.
But maybe
I mean,
you
to
do.
get somebody to build it.
So to
Right,
my
somebody
point to
still
that,
has-
that actually was what I was gonna, you're absolutely right. So the reality is with the way our housing market is and the way, and what we know about it, which frankly at this point is basically everything, right? So what we know is doesn't really matter. Because if you build a $500,000 house, right, then someone's gonna get into it and that frees up more stock. Cause you don't have any, we don't have the stock that we need. It's either not stabilized or rehabilitated in an appropriate way. Or we literally don't have the physical units or single family houses. So someone builds 15 $500,000 houses, that means someone right now, that owns a $200,000 or $300,000 house is gonna move. Or someone new is gonna come in, or either way, and all those have benefits. Cause the cycle is, as Tim was talking about, of housing is all jammed up in its entirety. So if you're renting, your cost burden in a lot of ways more, I forget what the percentage is now, but there's a high percentage of people who rent that are cost burden, which means 30% of their income is being spent on housing. They can't save, which means they can't get into that first home, which means I can't sell first home. I'm not in my first home, but let's just say I was. I can't sell first home. I can't get into the $500,000 home because I can't get rid of the home I got. I'm also probably cost burdened, or at least a large percentage of people that are in that first home, so they can't save and they can't build the equity they need and they can't get out the door. So and then seniors either they can't keep their home up, which allows for the sale to be what it should be, or they got nowhere to go. So so it doesn't matter, to your point, wherever you build a house is gonna help the entire ecosystem of
Yeah,
housing.
because I don't want to feel, I mean, I don't want to feel like we're rewarding somebody because they're building a bigger house. I mean, somebody is making the investment to do that, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
maybe this is just the way we can incentivize.
We would
this to move
incentivize
a
a
little
big
bit
factory
quicker.
just the
I
same way
know
you
it's not a
incentivize a small one.
huge amount of
Just
money on the
increments.
overall project, but psychologically it is, right?
Yeah.
So if the county's looking to create a fund to help that first dollar in those developers are gonna say,
Thing here.
yes.
Yeah.
So maybe part of our fee
Well,
goes to that.
Maybe that's a good idea.
But, you know, and it's, I think, you know, look at, by reducing just the sales tax alone, you're saving at least 10% on that sale. My biggest struggle has been, how are we sure it goes into that purchase, especially for the person who can't make that 30-40%?
So we had in here that Tim and, you know, I don't know where we landed, but we had a kind of an investment fund in. County executives talked about a program called Build Ready, but these things need to be capitalized, right? And then at the same, everybody's got, you know, ideas are good. They're easy. Money, a little tougher. So the more that you can do that, capitalize kind of to build some of the infrastructure that does make developers who are building housing developments is cost prohibitive. And what I mean by that is it's not just, it isn't just sewer and water. I mean, that's part of it. That's biggest part of it probably, but sewer, water, sidewalks, lighting, the things that outside of the house that make a development, right? And allow you to build more houses. So that's a thing that we're trying to do. Maybe this, and the idea is this would help do that. But the other part that they have especially from a single family side or from some of these innovative construct micro units or whatever, the incentives that aren't there right now today just makes many of those projects, whether you're building a $500,000 house or a low income house, makes no difference. They're just cost prohibitive, not just here, everywhere. So that's where, especially on the single family, which is just brutal. It's just brutally cost prohibitive for most developers to do, and this is a cleaner way to give them the incentive they need.
So whether it's this build ready fund or
Yeah, it doesn't matter what we call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the potential of waiving or altering agency fees for housing projects, those are more, I guess, internal policy things that we can arrive at later on, but for the purpose of tax abatement.
Yeah.
You know, what we have in the policy is really what we need in the policy proposed. And then we can arrive at, you know, other kind of.
Because I like to add it too. I mean, anything we can do to help them move it along.
I just want to give you a little example. I have a couple that came in last week who've lived in the apartments here on base for 2 years. They don't have kids. And all their friends, I think all their friends they talked about don't have kids. But they've been here for 2 or 3 years. They want to stay. They've been out looking for houses for 2 years. They can't find any. They aren't looking for old houses. They've lived in apartments, they've loved them, but they need to decide whether they're gonna stay in Rome or in the area or move. And if they can't find a house, they're gonna move because their jobs are all tied to tech. A lot of them are the base, and there are jobs all over the place that they could move to. They came from California. This couple came from California. And they have been searching for the last 6 months. In fact, I think just the other day, they looked at a house. They're not interested in the $300,000 houses. They're interested in maybe a $200,000 ranch house with a couple bedrooms and 3 bedrooms, 2 maybe, and then a couple baths. So there aren't any. There are none. Everybody wants.
And new, by the way, I'm a new.
I don't know that we can help these, and I think there's gonna be a slew of these people, because the apartments have been open now for 3 or 4 years. These people aren't gonna stay in these apartments. They're gonna move either somewhere else, or they're gonna move into a house in the area. And we've gotta find a way to, not low income, but to find a way to provide that house between $150,000 and $250,000. If we can do that, we're gonna keep a lot of people.
Well, I think.
The thing is, if people, you're right, and they're frustrated, I'm sure.
They
But
are.
I think the problem is if you like this area, you kind of have to expand you're not gonna find, I mean, everybody wants that
That's what we
$200,000 3-bedroom ranch house. They're just not there.
So I.
200,000 is way out.
They were there.
I know, but that's not realistic either, though.
So no, but I do think, but you're right, but I think to Dave, to your point, I mean, when we do something like this and incentivize something like this, again, I point out, it does, the more you create, regardless of where you create them in the cycle, the more you grease the wheel of the ecosystem. So
Well, we get
actually, and then we have other things that we have to do to work that housing plan, whether it's municipal guide and there's some other things that, especially on the stabilization, because really what needs to happen, and if not gonna get brand new 200,000, that ship is probably sailed even with these incentives, but what you could, maybe not, you never know. But what you can, because it is possible, I shouldn't say it's not, it is. But what you can do, and as you free it up, is there's people out there stabilizing current houses is very helpful in that regard. So it doesn't look like you're buying a house that you don't want, and instead looks like it's been redone. And by stabilized, basically, I mean, flipped, right? And some of that will happen, but it only will happen if we can start to knock the top off the ketchup bottle of all the newer development and some of the innovative development, and it still does the mixed use and all that jazz too, which we don't, that one we don't have as much of a problem with, but it's because it's board incentive. So
I don't think the municipalities want to change their codes. They want to control all this stuff at the local level.
they do, but we work with them every day to tell them how they can do these things.
I talk to Rome people and they don't.
There are other towns and other cities.
I know, I'm just saying.
But you're right. There's talking about, but it's not just allow a micro home. The housing, the planning things that are at ADUs are not allowed in a lot of towns. They should be, which is a fancy way of saying a mother-in-law quarters. Not my, and if Rome wants to not do that, that's where I live. That'd be okay, for me. But but
This is being recorded.
But I know. I know.
Made the point.
But that's why I gotta get it on the record, for God's sake. But I think that, you know, it's
So there
more
will
than,
be more people who listen to our recording.
it's more than,
There's a
more than
lot of big news on this.
it's more than that, it's setbacks, it's parking requirements, there are things that many municipalities are willing to change, are willing to look at differently. And we teach them and work with them and train them, first of all, by law, planning boards have to get trained. And then also, which we do trainings with the state, and there's ways to do this, so whether they're all gonna do it or not is not.
But I think.
Right, some of them are gonna do it, and that's what's important.
When we open this up, I think this is broad enough to where it covers a lot of things. So at this point, I mean, unless there's any more discussion, do we want to make, or if the members need more time to review it, that's okay. But I mean, I think we want to make a motion and recommend it to
Yeah, so
the municipality.
Linda, Laura-
We have to have a hearing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Do we have to have a public hearing?
Yes.
Probably.
Is this gonna include, you know, earlier when you mentioned the fees?
that would be a
That
more
would-
of an internal policy.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
all right.
If that doesn't affect the municipality.
Got it.
Okay, go ahead.
So to answer your question, you don't necessarily need to conduct a public hearing. You do need to provide a copy of the draft policy to all the tax jurisdictions so they can offer their comment. In the past, I believe the agency has chosen to do a public hearing because that's a convenient way to do that, to bring everybody together, but you don't necessarily need to conduct a public hearing. You do need to let everybody know and invite comments.
Yeah, we have all their emails. We just send it out, try to be as broad as possible. And we've gotten a few calls in the past when we did.
I think this is big enough to where we should have a public.
Mhm.
hearing.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to come, let them come, and if not, that's okay.
So then I guess if I could recommend that there'd be a resolution to present the policy, the proposed policy as presented to the municipalities and to conduct a public hearing.
And I would say make sure, well, we have to advertise the public hearing anyway, but I might suggest, rather than just a legal one, we gotta put a legal one anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe an ad, separate ad, which identifies that there's a policy being considered to expand housing. Just to get the word out.
I think we can get press on it too.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, because I think we'll work closely with the county on it. Look, I think we, from an IDA perspective, have been ahead of the curve on this. I mean, Dave, I remember you asking us 2 years ago when we started this, go find other counties that do this. We could not, even throughout the country. There's a few instances, but not where we're, we're
We can give
doing
them
this.
points for daycare. Things of that. Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
All right, so can I have a motion to approve of our
Move it.
policy? Thank you,
Second.
Erica, thank you. Any other comments or questions from anyone?
Subject to public hearing.
Yep, so, yeah, this will be something, that'll be fine. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Good job.
Yes.
Okay, item number 9, Tim had a couple of things he wanted to talk to us about, so Express New York.
Yeah, Express New York, maybe you've seen press from the governor's office, but it's an effort to streamline or eliminate certain regulations and rules related to building in New York State and
everything else, right?
right, in other economic development matters. So there's a portal open through April 3rd. If any of the members have any suggestions, recommendations that you would like to have submitted, you can email those to me. And I can kind of compile them and submit them on behalf of the idea.
I haven't been following this one. I'm sorry, Tim, I'm too focused on tort reform right now with the governor. Is this gonna be viewed as stepping on local zoning boards? Is Express New York gonna step on local zoning boards? Is that the rub against it, or I haven't followed it at all?
I think it's just a way of clearing up, it's an effort to clear up red tape, basically.
It could be zoning, it could be something a small business has to file annually.
Yeah,
That
they're
it could be
asking-
almost anything, the overtime rules.
Yeah, and there's already been an effort by New York State EDC to solicit that feedback among EDO members of that organization. So they're already kind of compiling from their perspective, but we didn't have the opportunity to solicit that feedback from our
I'm
users yet,
surprised
so.
you haven't seen through any of the insurance associations. I mean, Farm Bureau's pushing it. you know, that truck driver, you know, certain trucking rules. It's so,
Yeah, it's.
they're really.
I was looking at it in terms of housing and
You
zoning.
know,
It's not
it's-
as much
it's
bigger
not
than that.
town.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
No, I haven't-
But they'll take those, they'll take it's a portal.
I did see the trucking issue.
It's, you know,
I was
it's
just
a
thinking of
zoning-
it because of the housing policy, so I was still in that mode.
You're bringing up that zoning issue. That's a perfect example because New York State is making anybody who wants to go after money for housing, any format,
The pro
you
house.
have to become a pro-housing community. We got communities that don't want to do it because they're afraid New York State's gonna come in and say, you know, you have to take this type of housing. And
Yeah, this became a big fight in Long Island. We went last year and
What about farmers? Do we need them to have the farming community?
Yeah, that could go within the.
farm viewers all over it, Dave. I mean, we can come out and support and say, you know, we'd love to see what our community businesses are saying. And you might find specific ones you really want to come behind. I mean,
Yeah, if you're
some
a
of the
daycare
rules-
agency, you're talking about the directors, if you're an insurance, you probably be putting in stuff for that.
We're gonna need farmers here, the place of vines.
so,
So, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
just, I don't know if we're ready to wrap up the conversation, but if I didn't mention it before, submissions are due April 3rd. So, within the next week, if there's any suggestions that you want, just send them to me.
lower property taxes.
That might be it.
And all of the rest of them too.
Right, that's the one thing they can't do. They don't charge property tax.
Okay, item number 10, sublease amendments. Got a couple reports for us?
Yeah, just as an FYI, we're working on executing lease renewals for a couple of the tenants next door, Atlantic Testing and Pullman's Phone. Doesn't require action because you've already consented to a sublease to those entities, so it's just more of an FYI.
Thank you. Anything else to come before the board?
Will we there?
Yes, next meeting is May 15th. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
Movie.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Okay. We'll open the meeting of you need a second?
We can change,
You need a second to change the video, or is it the same thing?
No, it's the same.
Okay, great.
Hey, Steve, I'm gonna have to leave at 9:30.
Me
just so-
too. I gotta leave at 9:25.
Well, we're gonna be done at 9:15.
Yeah.
This one's gonna fly, but, all right, we'll open the meeting of the Oneida County Local Development Corporation. There a need for executive session?
Not this time.
We have minutes from our February 20th meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
Move it.
Second.
Thank you. Oh, everybody's just saying, well, here, no one's.
Defensive stance.
Get those, you get those, mentioned, okay, all in favor?
I
Opposed, carried. Okay, Rachel,
All right, 2025 financial statements. So Bondio also issued a clean unqualified opinion for LDC. I'm gonna start on the statement of financial position, which is your balance sheet. So obviously cash did decrease. That's due to not receiving any bond revenue last year and having your normal operating expenses flow out. You do see a receivable back from the Fulton County Center of Regional Growth. Due to that agreement, you will be getting that back at some point, so reporting that as an asset. The New York State, the website revamp that we had was a new intangible asset. So that was new compared to last year. Organization costs obviously didn't change too much. Flowing down through the current liabilities, accounts payable is high, we all know why. And then the donor restricted cash was spent down for the workforce development funds, so that has cleared for 2025. Statement of activities, you didn't receive any bond fees, so that is significantly lower than last year. And then we obviously received the $75,000 from the IDA, so that is recorded. Special projects was up quite a lot, and that was due to the workforce development sponsorships and the Fulton County Center of Regional Growth. And then obviously change in net assets is negative $228,000, just to not receiving any bond revenue. Statement of cash flows kind of says the same thing. So the change in cash overall for 2025 was a negative $260-ish thousand. Notes to the financials, once again, just wanted to touch on the note number 3, concentrations of credit risk. So The LDC is not held at the same standard as the IDA, and it's just suggested that we stay under the FDIC $250,000 limit or collateralize it. So that is not as, the word I'm looking for, but as restricted as it was for the IDA. And then obviously the related parties, related parties, note number 11, which just notes that the IDA and EDGE are related parties to the LDC. That's all I have to.
We should endeavor, to stay under the 250.
We should, and we normally do for the most part, yeah.
Any questions for Rachel? What else you got, Rachel?
So February financials.
I have a motion to approve the.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Okay. Motion to approve the audit.
Motion.
Erica, thank you. Second. Thank you. James, all in favor?
I,
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. February financials wasn't a lot of change from the January financials, other than we did receive the Hamilton bond that closed, netting revenue of $62,000. And the CD did mature and Sean did pick it up this month. So we did end up catching up with all of our people and all that. So you'll see that next month. But
With Rachel, we go with a piece of paper. She goes, hand this to the clerk and they'll give you some money.
this is what you have to say.
Wasn't good, Steve.
No, they even wrote it to the wrong entity and everything. It was a whole thing. But it's cleared up now, so it should be good for March will be better finances.
Have we had any inquiries on any bonds coming up at all? Anybody inquiring or inquiring? You don't
There,
have to say who, but it's.
there's one earlier this year, and I'm hoping that a discussion in the next week or so might turn into a.
Okay.
So,
Great. Okay.
Is the LDC looking at any childcare investment? Which is a not-for-profit?
at the moment, no, but I'd say we can and should.
I think that's
That's the
something
kind
that
of-
let us come back to you with some concepts between IDA, LPC of these support issues of workforce, childcare, further on the housing. And I'd say we haven't scratched the
Yeah.
surface of the need.
Are childcare people, developers looking to do not-for-profits or for-profit? Or don't,
Most of what we've seen is,
both of them?
actually, most of what we've seen is for profit.
all in a business that is gonna include it.
No, they mean opening a new daycare.
Okay. Good for them.
So item number 4, we have to ratify and confirm our PAAA submissions. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
second,
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Have to ratify our mission statement. So can I have a motion to approve?
make the motion.
Thank you, Veronica. Second.
Second.
Tim? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Yep. Carried. And what about our board performance?
Yes, so in the, I think it's the last page of your packet, and for the IEA, if there's a confidential board.
Oh, yes, if you haven't sent that in, please.
I don't think so.
Is that the county one I forwarded?
The confidential board performance for.
Oh,
IEA, no,
No,
it's not.
you're also gonna get one from us from the county,
Yeah.
the usual financial.
And it's just part of it.
have we already seen this? Is there a chance we already did?
Yes.
Every year you have to do it, but I don't think.
We have not done it this year.
Correct.
Okay.
No,
Really?
we did.
We did in December,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
or did we just give?
If you haven't given it
Would
to me,
you,
then.
would you let us know if we?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's confidential.
Clearly neither do I.
We keep them in.
I don't keep track of this.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I did it, yeah.
I will let you all know.
Yeah, I think those that turned them in, I think turned them in December to Sean.
Yeah, at this meeting.
Yes.
Sean doesn't remember.
I know, I do remember. I don't know what I did with that.
Well, if it's confidential, you don't know, I know I did it this year.
I think I gave them to you, Tim.
Question is whether they were for last year or this year.
No, they were for, the ones we did
Okay.
covered,
That's a joke.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so, anything else to come before the board?
I suspect.
Okay, yeah, just wanted to acknowledge, we have an author in our presence. I don't know if anybody knows.
Yeah.
James
Oh, that's
is
me.
public.
Oh,
I did.
congratulations,
It's
James.
for the Ember
Yeah,
Sparks.
before the Ember Sparks, yeah, that's the name, yeah.
Buy it on
It's
Amazon.
available on Amazon.
All right.
Feel obligated to get, I mean, feel free to get it.
I'm gonna go.
Before the Ember Sparks.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
It is newer.
Like,
We're being
signed.
We have
a motion to adjourn? Move it.
No, all right.
I don't-
I'm always available for you, sir.
Okay. Steve, chastised me on Friday about for not bringing it up.
I heard that.
Well, not, see, yeah, owns it.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't tell me.
All right.
Everyone, like I.
Maybe he lied to me, maybe he really.
Everyone thinks that I'm his first point of contact. I can assure you.
Last
Probably.
item.
Yeah.
You know, I just-
Take care, everybody.